Hello, hello. All right, so we do three of these each week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. If you want to sign up, you can scan this QR code right here, and that will take you to our registration page. If you don't want to scan that, that's just fine. You could actually also find the registration link right within KV Core itself, so that way you can be aware of our upcoming sessions. So on our registration page, we don't put the topics on there yet. So the only place right now to see the topics ahead of time is in this Facebook group. So definitely head on over and join our Facebook group. It's a really good resource for you. And every week, I think it's the Friday before, we post the upcoming topics. So that way you can decide, okay, this is something that's important to me. I want to make sure that I'm there for that. Or this is something I can catch later on that YouTube channel or within that Facebook group and kind of catch up. So today we are, and if this is your first time, welcome. If you've been here a lot, still welcome. So we start with kind of 30 minutes of prepared content. Mine are usually 40 because I talk a lot. And we keep questions kind of on topic at that point. And then we open it to a Q&A. So if you're here now and you have an off-topic question, you can still throw that in the Q&A. Just know that I'm going to circle back to that at the end of today. And so that's what these are, and some days we have lots of times for Q&A and sometimes less. We do try to answer all questions though that come in on those Q&As. And then, yep, you can see the recording links in here. So lots of good content. I love doing these. They're fun. All right, so we are going to talk about your area pages on your website. So your area page can be found on your KV Core website. Usually, so we do have a couple different website templates out there that you might be on. Some of them are brokerage exclusive. Most of them are for everyone. So they might be in a couple different places depending on your template that you're using for your website. But on my KV Core website, this is my website that I have through KV Core, it is all the way down at the bottom. So just scrolling all the way down, and I have this areas that we cover. Now, I apparently only have the Bronx in here, so I will show you how to add and remove different areas that you do cover. And when you click on these areas that we cover, it opens up what we call the area pages. And these area pages are super cool as is, right? It's going to show the most popular listing in that area, the most expensive listing in that area, and the least expensive listing in that area as well. Now, it also allows you to kind of get more narrow. So areas within Bronx, the Bronx would be Bronx, City Island, and Riverdale. So if I then wanted to do more of a narrow focus on my area page, I can do that. And the neighborhoods would be even smaller, so I could do that too. So if I specifically wanted to look this up for the Parkchester area, I could click on that, and it's going to take me to even more narrow down and focus. It doesn't look like there's it doesn't have anything highlighted for us. We have 3 total listings. We can click on those listings and it will take me to those listings so I can see that, and then also some stats over here, which is pretty cool. So these are the area pages. We started with the Bronx, the big one, city, and then we narrowed it down into a neighborhood. And so I love these area pages. They just have so much value to them, and they are kind of like a hidden little treasure nugget, right? They are in all of our templates, they're near the bottom. Some of them, most of them, they're like all that's all the way on the bottom. And there's so much good information there. So I really like it. So these areas that we cover, now that we've seen what they look like, in real life, I'm going to show you how to edit the areas. So I'm going to show you how to kind of expand or narrow your focus. If you just launched, you probably, or if you've never edited this before, you probably have a ton of areas in there, right? Sometimes when you get set up, you pick all the areas, kind of just depends on how your admin set it up. And sometimes it's more focused. And so you might look here and have, like when I first started, I have every single city in the state of California. Ridiculous, right? And so you can choose to narrow that focus or leave it as open as you want, depending on what you want on your website, what you want focused on. Let's see. You started expanding the area pages, adding content images, but found that many areas don't contain many of the neighborhoods that are well populated and popular. Okay, Patricia, if you are finding that, so if you look at an area that we cover and look at this Bronx, and so if I'm hearing you correctly, you then clicked on Eastchester, for example, and you know that there's a lot of listings. So that's the thing. It goes off of the active listings in the MLS. So if there's no longer, you say that it's popular. So maybe they don't have any active listings, right? So that's something to keep in mind. But if you know that there's active listings, or up here you can see I know that there's some reductions, or if something like that is missing, definitely reach out to our support team. We want to know if there is something missing in our data feed. So this pulls in directly from the MLS data feed that's attached to your account specifically. So great call out. Yeah, you can see how many data feeds there are in here, right? And so, or how many areas within that data feed. So one, yeah, if something's missing, definitely reach out and let us know. Send us a data sheet for the listing that should be populated here. If it's that it's missing from the feed, or we're not reading the feed correctly, that's something that we could edit. If it's that the listing agent themselves did not put them in the correct neighborhood, that's not something that we can edit or fix. But good call out. Yeah, if there's ever anything that's we're missing a listing, or we're missing 5 listings, or definitely let us know so we can always look and see what's happening with our feed. So good call. Yeah. Yep, there needs to be 3. Yep, there needs to be 3 for this to be able to feed in correctly. Yes. Good call. Good call. All right. So, yep, you have to have those 3 listings. And sometimes when I look here, they'll be the most popular listing will also be the same as the most expensive listing or the least expensive listing. So these 3 kind of highlighted listings are not necessarily all going to be different, because this is depending on what are people actually looking at within overall KV Core. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the neighborhood won't show if there aren't 3 listings. Yes, good call out. Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right, so if you want to edit what's showing, so if you want to narrow or expand what's showing on here, we're going to do that from within KV Core. So in KV Core, this is something that's included on our website. So that's in the web and IDX section. So we're going to click on that. And then this is part of the site content. So I like to just scroll a little bit to get there to my service areas and my SEO. Now, if you have never made any edits here, you might find that this says 0, but your website has a whole bunch. And so that means that you are inheriting from your office or your company site, and you've just never gone in and edited this for yourself. So that's what's happening on mine. We looked at my website and I very clearly had, this Bronx real estate area that we serve, right? I scroll all the way down, areas we cover, the Bronx, that's there. So that's inheriting from some site that's above me. So it might be I don't remember. I think it's my team site that I'm inheriting from. But I have not done this for myself. So that's why it's showing 0 right here. So that's why you might see something different in one versus the other. So we are going to view and edit. And here are my service areas and my SEO. So this can affect some of your SEO rankings, right? And so this can help your SEO rankings based on if you're making changes in here, if you use phrases that are common commonly searched for, things like that. That's going to be SEO. So what you want to do is you can add all cities from your MLS, and that's going to add all the cities from your MLS, and you can slowly remove from there, or you can add one at a time. So it kind of depends on your MLS and what's available to you, which route you want to take. If I click add all cities from the MLS, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's going to take forever for them to populate in here. So I'm going to remove before they populate, right? And we removed. I'm going to do it one by one because, as I mentioned, I'm in California, and the way the MLS that I'm attached to works, it's going to pull in every city. These areas are only cities, but you might be able to do counties as well. So if I do San Diego, I can pull in the area of San Diego. I can pull in the neighborhood, which is like very specific in the MLS, and I can do my cities. Yes. So we'll do the city of San Diego as an example. We will also do, let's see, Orange Park Acres, which is an area or a neighborhood, I should say, that I'm pretty familiar with. There is, so you can kind of add them like this. So here's a city, here's a neighborhood. Let's do just kind of like a couple more. I'm totally blanking. Where do I live? I live in Carlsbad. And then we'll add San Marcos. And we'll do one more. We'll do Oceanside, California. And I actually want to do one of the neighborhoods. Well, we'll just do the city. Okay. Just for the sake of time. So now I'm going to have these different area pages. If I now go to look at my website, I'm going to have different area pages than we had when we first looked. It might take a couple minutes to update. Yeah, there we go. This one happened right away. So now the areas that I cover: Carlsbad, Oceanside, Orange Park Acres, San Diego, and San Marcos. This is going to be alphabetical. You can't change that. So that is something that's good to know. The difference between an area and a city, that's how it's labeled within the MLS. So you have your city and then the area of that city. So you have like Oceanside, but then I'll have like South Oceanside or East Oceanside, and then I'll have a specific neighborhood which is even smaller. So it's like county, city, area, and neighborhood, but it goes based off of how it's identified in the MLS. So now I have completely different areas that I cover. So I have, Orange Park Acres, for example. We'll click on that one. Here's kind of like a fun little pro tip for you. Even though Bronx is no longer a link on my website, right? Because we've updated it. You can still kind of like make it happen. So if you look at a different area page and change this section after where it says area. So if I just typed in Bronx here, or if I typed in, let's see, Tustin is one that I know. Even though that's not a page that I've chosen to showcase on my website, like I just kind of made that page. So, I can do any area from the MLS. So I can do a city, I can do a county, I can do a zip code here as well. So like if I did want to do like San Diego County, I could pull that in too. So that's kind of like a little sneaky thing that you can do, which I like. It's pretty fun. So if I wanted to like advertise Tustin, but I didn't actually want it on my website, this is kind of like a workaround that I could do. All right, so here I have my service areas and my SEO. So you can look here for like different keywords that you might choose to add. So these are called meta tag keywords. And so these are going to be embedded kind of like invisibly into the back of your page. This is going to help make it more searchable through things like Google and all the different search engines that are out there. This is how this helps become SEO, right? Helps you be found as you're searching through on the internet. So you want to put different things in here that people are going to search for. So you could probably do a quick Google search of like best real estate meta tag keywords, and it would pop up. In fact, we'll just do that together. Best meta tag for real estate. Right. Now we've got all kinds of things here. I haven't looked at any of these, so I'm not going to verify whether any of these are like actually legitimate. Let's just look at carrot.com. I don't know anything about carrot.com. Might be great, might not be. But I could probably find a list here of some meta tags. So let's see, we want keywords, but so I'd probably do meta tag keywords. Meta tag keywords. There we go. 17 superb real estate meta description examples. Meta descriptions, powerful real estate keywords. Okay, I would probably do this one. Again, without really researching anything into it, I'm kind of just hoping there we go. There's a list. That's what I was hoping for. So I might pop these lists into my keywords here. You do want to make sure that you separate like the phrases by commas. That way it reads it as separate kind of phrases in there. So Carlsbad, I might call this, I might put in some like focal point about Carlsbad. So there's like the Carlsbad Village. There is a lot of surfing. That's not how you spell surfing. Beach town, beach vacation, right? So these are all going to help you be found, but they're not actually going to show on your websites. It's kind of like little background, So those are our keywords. Yeah, you could probably ask ChatGPT to create the keywords for you. That's not something that I have done myself, but yeah, I can imagine that you could do that. So you would tell ChatGPT like create meta tag keywords, and then you would give it its purpose, like to increase your searchability on Google if people are looking for real estate. Like, so you kind of tell it what you need. So yeah, probably. I haven't tried that. I'm probably going to try that. That's a great idea. I love that. So there's just a couple for you, right? And then I just looked up this list. I'm not going to link it or anything because I haven't vetted that at all, but you could just see how I just kind of Googled, meta tag keywords for real estate. Here we are. And so I could, luxury real estate, waterfront property, all of these ones are true for this area. So I would probably, that's a great idea to put those in, right? Waterfront property, comma, right? So you just kind of keep going, as many as you want. Other things that I would do, like I said, like if there is a local thing that makes, I cannot think of the phrase, sorry, like a big shopping center. Like if I live near the Mall of America, I would definitely put that in my keywords. If I lived in Oceanside, here we've got Oceanside, I'm going to put the junior, I cannot spell his last name. That's not the right way, but he was a football player and has like a big amphitheater in Oceanside. I might put things that like make Oceanside famous. I might put, if there's like an artist that does a lot of work in Oceanside, I might put those kinds of things into my keywords just to like help people find my website. You can also just kind of like, what I would do, I would make a list of your keywords that are going to be relevant for all of your areas. So that way I don't have to, like Carlsbad, Oceanside, San Diego, those are all going to have beachfront property. So I might make a list of my keywords and copy and paste them into each one that are relevant, and then go in and add in some more specifics, right, to really diversify. So that's probably how I would kind of manage that SEO content. Is there a limit? There's not one in our documentation. So I believe at one point I've looked into that and I was told 350, but it's not in our documentation. So our documentation is like what always tells us what is true. So I guess no, that would be my thought. Yeah, good question. Then we have, so that's the keywords. Your page text, this is where we can really customize. So we're going to circle back to that in just a minute. But I also want to show you this display text. So for example, Oceanside is very commonly called O-side. So if I wanted to call this O-side on my website, then I can do that. So now if I go back to my website and go back to the home page, and then scroll down to the bottom. Again, it might take a couple minutes. Yep, there it is. So it already says O-side, right? So you can go in and make changes to these if you want to make them, like, again, more searchable. Other things that I would put in the keywords would be like common misspellings of your area. So like if people often spell Carlsbad, don't even know how I would say that, but Carslad, right? Or Carlsbad, right? So you could put common misspellings in there. Orange Park Acres often goes by OPA, so I'm definitely going to put that in here. Right, different things like that. Now you do want to save kind of each one as you go, just to make sure that it sticks in there. Yeah. Lots of websites have huge pics of areas they cover with links of info. Can we customize our homepage for that? Yeah, so that would be something covered definitely in one of our other success meetups when we talk about our widgets. So this one, I would look at this one, new options for website templates and widgets. So on your website, these are all widgets, right? These are widgets. So we have a bunch of different options for you to look at in your templates. And you can, and you can also edit the image that's here. So yes, you can definitely do that. Let me give you the link to that recording specifically. And then if we have time, we can kind of review that a little bit as well. There you go. So that's in the chat for those of you who are live. For those of you who are watching the recording, you saw how I got there, so you can find that. Good question. All right, so we did our keywords, we did our display text. Now this page text is where we can really start customizing what it is, that we're looking for. So in the display text, you can use plain text or you can use HTML coding. And that's where you can really can have a lot of fun in there. So for example, you can include videos, you can include just verbiage that you might want to include. And so has KV Core recently updated? I'm going to need you to be more specific. We update things all the time. So we did, we are often updating things. So that, new website templates. So these came out, these templates, about 3 months ago. That's when we did a video on it like right away because it's such a hot topic. We do little updates, and then we have like big twice a year, like a big update that we put out a big webinar on. Yeah. So that would have been like our spring summer release webinar. And if you need the recording link for that, I have it somewhere, but for the sake of time, it's probably better to ask support for it. So that was our spring/summer release. And so yes, we twice a year like to keep you updated all on like here are some big things that we have released in the last 6 months in case you missed out on any of our like announcements about it. And then we also let you know kind of what's coming in the future roadmap, things to keep your eye out on upcoming changes as well. So we do that twice a year. This is our spring summer release, and then we do in like the fall winter as well. So yeah, I would ask support for that recording. That was, I think, about a month ago now is when we did that. So yes, you are correct. I wanted to be sure because we do like little things, all the time. But yeah, we did our big twice a year thing just like a month ago. Yeah, good question. All right, so when it comes to this page text or this HTML, so you can talk here about how great it is to live in Carlsbad. Or you can add a video as well. So I did just a quick search on YouTube where I looked at some different, I just typed in Oceanside, California, and there are a lot of videos in here. So I would recommend doing one of your own videos. But so the real pros and cons of living in Oceanside, a local's guide to Oceanside, California. What's happening in Oceanside, California? So these are all like good ones. These are probably all realtors. I don't know if they are or not. But I mean, that is absolutely something that I would do as a realtor is like make a video about a neighborhood. I like this, the complete weekend guide. So that's pretty cool. Why everyone loves living in Oceanside. Anyway, I'm just excited. So I'm just going to pick one. So I'm going to pick, we'll just pick that one, a locals guide. And so you can take these videos. Let me skip this ad. There we go. Skip that. Okay. And so now that you have the video, you can click this share link. Yep. He's a realtor. Thought so. Contact Dan for your San Diego real estate needs. And then you can click on this embed code. So this embed code, you want all of this, or you could even start it at a certain point in time. I'm just going to do the whole thing and I'm going to click copy. And so it's copying all of this code here. And so I'm going to take that into Oceanside and put that right there and save that. Okay, now you can still write above or below this coding as well. So here's my personal message, my favorite grocery, or my favorite restaurants are, and I might even link out to those restaurants and save that change. And when we go back to my website and hit refresh, there we go. And go down to the bottom. We have our Carlsbad. Nope, that was Oceanside. And so here's my message, or here's what I wrote. Here are my personal message. Here's my favorite restaurants. And then here's that video. Right. So this is a great way to personalize your areas, right? Add in, you can switch out these videos. I kind of like that idea. And the fact that it's then linked back to YouTube, that's going to, again, help your page be found. Anytime you're kind of linking out to other kind of hot things that people are on, that's always good for helping traffic get to your website. I would probably, here my favorite restaurants are, again, I'd probably put links to what those restaurants were. You can do just a basic verbiage here. So again, I did like my message, but if I did want to do links to things, they would need to be coded in HTML. So I don't really know HTML code. ChatGPT might be able to help me with that. So Patricia, before you throw that good pro tip in there, I don't know if ChatGPT can write HTML code. I'm actually just going to search for that right now. Yes, ChatGPT can help you write HTML code. So that's super cool. But you can also, like, there's a little side. Our blog is just like this sneaky little side helper. You can add a post. So let's just say if I add a post in here, link to my favorite restaurants, or my favorite restaurants are. I'm just going to do a quick Google search of restaurants in Oceanside. Oh yeah, that's a good one. For the sake of time, I'm just going to pick one. But my favorite restaurants are, this is 333 Pacific. And then I have that website open on my other tab. So I just grabbed its link and put that right there. Right, so here's my fake little blog article. If I then grab my coding here, put this into HTML code for me. So I don't really need to know coding. I can just put what I want in here in this basic editor and then copy it, which is super sneaky. If I want to come back to it, that's not how you spell restaurants, but we'll save it as a draft. I go back into my site content. I go back to my service areas and my SEO. Here's my Oceanside. And so I would rather put, and this is kind of tiny, so that is a little tricky. So instead of my favorite restaurants are, I'm going to put in my code, save that. And now if I refresh this, it might get mad at me. I keep refreshing it a lot. There we go. So here's my personal message. My favorite restaurants are, and then it can link out. So cool ways to kind of add some personalization in here. Kind of circling back to something Patricia said earlier about these pages kind of hide if there are not 3 listings. So I personally would not take all this time on a real specific neighborhood unless you know that there's always things going on. Like I would do a city personally, because that I know there's always going to be 3 listings at Oceanside, always. So that would be my personal recommendation. And then you could even add links up here, right, to things that you want to say about the specific neighborhood. So you could do something like that. ChatGPT will find the favorite restaurants. You can, oh my God, I love that. And you can ask it to create links and also comment. Oh my gosh, chat. I'm just barely scraping into ChatGPT myself. There's just so much you can do with it. If you look back at our playlist, we do have a couple ChatGPT ones that are on here. I have not done any of them yet. But Heather has really jumped into, there you go, make code for your website with ChatGPT. So that's in there too. So we do have a couple. I think we have 2 that we've done. Anyway. So yeah, good call. All right, so that's kind of your customization. I also want to talk about whether or not you take time to customize. Like when we looked at my Bronx page from the very beginning, that was already cool, right? There was already powerful information and insight and data into that. And so even if you don't take the time to edit things, like we only edited like 1 or 2, you can still really utilize this page to help your website and your web focus. So one thing you can do is to just use this as a piece of high value content, right? As you are following up with leads and contacts, you want to build trust with them, and you build trust with them by giving them high value content, right? I get asked often, like, well, how often is too often to email or text or call or flyer drop or door knock or whatever outreach you're using? And the answer is there's no such thing as too much, as long as what you're doing gives them value, right? And I know that that is very subjective, right? But think about, okay, the people in my sphere of influence, would they find this valuable? My new leads, would they find this valuable? My clients, would they find this valuable? So as long as what you're providing is valuable, it's not going to be too much. Like, I don't get mad when people send me coupons if it's a store I shop at. But if it's somewhere I don't shop at, you can give me a million coupons and I don't care, right? So as long as you're giving people something of value, you're not reaching out too much, right? So this is something that's high value content that you can share with your leads and your contacts. And then it keeps them on your website. So it keeps them centered on you. So it's a really, really good thing. So a couple ways to use this. Let's see, would it be better to have YouTube or Vimeo videos? Vimeo doesn't have ads if you have a paid account. It's embedded in here. So as long as you have like code, yeah, Vimeo does do coding to embed. So you could do that too. There's also a sneaky little YouTube trick that I will show you to get them to always play out ads. So if you add in YouTube, I forget where it is, they move it around. I think it's there. Nope, yep. So if you add a little dash, it will still play the video, but it will play it without ads. I'd have to Google it, but there, yep, so it wasn't that. But there is, I think it's between the T and the U. Oh, that gets it big. I don't want it big. So there is okay, it's not that one either. It might be that big one. But there is a place where you can put the dash. Oh, that looks scary. We don't want to go there. I don't know what that is, but there's a place to put the dash. So that way it will play without ads. So that might be something as well for those of you who don't have Vimeo. If you put that little dash, I believe it was between the T and the U. Yeah, that looks like the best one. So you can do that here and then share. Nope, maybe because now it's all big. Anyway, I don't know, but there is a dash that you can put in somewhere so that way it doesn't play videos. It's a little YouTube hack. Could probably Google it. It probably would have been faster than me trying to figure it out. But that's something that you can do. So that way, then when you go and click that share and that embed, it won't play an ad. So that's a good call out about ads and advertising. Yeah, Vimeo, anything, as long as it has that embed code, that's the key. So anything that you can embed, you could put in here. Good question. All right, so with these pages, we looked at customizing, but you can also use it to just build trust. So we can get people to look at these pages more. And we can also use it as like bait to drive leads, right? So for example, just looking at this information, I mean, that's not the prettiest listing to be showcased. I can't really do anything about that there. That's okay. But look at the data that's on this page, right? We're looking at the most popular, most expensive, and least expensive home in this specific area that we're looking at. We are also going and looking at the total number of properties, how many are new, how many have been reduced, how many have scheduled open houses, what's in foreclosure, what's the compared to the county. So there's a lot of good stats in here as well. So just looking at this would be a great destination point for a landing page. So we'll go really fast into building a landing page because we have lots of training on building a landing page. But think about what your hook might be. What information do I want to give them? So they give me their email address. So, hey, do you want to see the most popular listing in Oceanside? Right? That's fast, quick, simple. That's what we're going to do. So lead engine, real quick landing page. This is going to be Oceanside area page. Submit button text, see the most popular listing now. And then after they log in, I'm just going to take them just straight to this custom page. So I don't have to do anything special. And yes, this lady is thinking about living in Oceanside, or I might do a background image, my own custom background image of the ocean or, the Top Gun house, because that's in Oceanside. And these are probably buyers. And then just for time, I'm just going to delete some of these and say, what's the most popular listing right now in Oceanside, California? Think you know? Right, simple landing page. Save that. Right, and then here we have, so the most popular listing right now in Oceanside, California, think you know? They put in their email address and now I have a lead, right? And so I'm using this page as a hook to get myself more leads. So that's another thing that you could utilize this. Think about all the knowledge that you have that you can, hook for people into getting leads. You can also add this as a custom page. So custom pages on your website are where you call attention to things that are interesting to you. So I have created a custom category of Oceanside living. And under that, I've nested these different pages. So I've nested a page of Oceanside utilities, just super simple links to, okay, Oceanside water has its own Facebook page. That's a cute dog. Connecting your utilities. So my utilities / Oceanside. So I just made a really simple custom page with the Oceanside utilities. Oceanside oceanfront properties. I used a squeeze page builder of properties in Oceanside on the oceanfront. Again, we've got a couple sneaky ones in there. This is labeled on the MLS, but mostly accurate. And then finally, I did my Oceanside market information. And that's cool. I wasn't sure. I did this at a custom page a while ago, and all those changes that I just made are still in there, which is pretty cool. So to do that, let me show you how to do that. Let me open that back up. So to do that, first step would be to go to your web in IDX and go to your service areas and their SEO and make sure you have things in here that you want. Then you can, oh, that's cool. You can click on these. So let's say I wanted to do Orange Park Acres. So let's add that. Okay. And this is common. There's not usually a lot of listings in there. So this would be like an example. So Orange Park Acres. So now that I have the page, I can then go into my custom pages of my site content. And I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to do this a little bit fast as well, just because we do have a lot of other training on how to do this. So, oh, I like this. This is clear. So my title, this is going to be OPA market information. And I'm going to put this under OPA living. Right, actually that's the new category. So I need to put that in my new category. And then my page contents, all I'm going to do is link to this area page. And then here's another option for some SEO. Meta tags again, meta tag keywords again, feed to child sites. So that's only if you're an admin. So I'm not, so I put no. And save. And now I'm going to have an additional OPA piece of information. In order to get this to show on my website, I do have one more thing. I need to go into my website manager and force it to show from there. Go to custom navigation and add in my OPA living. And so now when we go to my website and hit refresh, there we go. I've got my Oceanside living and my OPA living with my OPA market information. And I'm probably going to build this out as well, just like my Oceanside living, with a list of properties. I might do schools in the area, just like really showcase to people that this is something I care about. So that's another way to kind of get more people to view this. You can also use this as content, right? As I mentioned before, you're never sending too much as long as it's high value content that you're sending. And so I might feature a different area if I'm doing like a newsletter. I would, if I was an active agent, I might get really hyper focused, and just do like neighborhoods, or I might do like a city and really work my sphere of influence, right? So if I was doing my sphere of influence, I have sphere in San Marcos, Escondido, Carlsbad, and Oceanside. If you don't live near me, you don't know what that means, but they're like 4 pretty close cities, to each other, how cities are. And so I might commit, I might do a monthly newsletter, and in each newsletter, I might talk a little bit about each 4 of those cities. And I might include a link to this, area page that we have. So I might use that as newsletter content to send it out to my leads and my contacts to show them that I care about the area, right? And I might switch it up. Like maybe for San Marcos this month, I'm going to focus on some new restaurants, and then I'll do the area pages for the other areas. And the next month, I'll like swap, right? So this would be really good content to add into a newsletter, just because it is like, this is pretty high value, showing the areas, the houses that people are interested in. I do want to show you, let me pick a different area, because this just has one property. So let me show you one that has more. So Oceanside. Here we go. We're looking at all these properties. So if I want to see the total of all properties, I can click on that, and it's going to show me all of those properties listed, right? So if I'm looking for a property in Oceanside, this is really, high value content for me. If I just want to see the reduced properties, let's look at that, right? And okay, there we have all the properties that have been reduced, right? So it helps people find what it is that they need on your website. You can also take the links to these, and instead of just being in your newsletter, you can also send it in a text, right? You can send links in text. You just want to be aware of like how many characters you're utilizing for this link. But I could definitely go to my smart CRM and either as a mass text or to an individual person like Whitney here, send her a text. Like maybe she's not sure about which area she wants to live in. So here is some info for you. Wow, wrong 4. About Oceanside. And then I put the link in there and send it to her. And then I open and do a separate, I mean, I just like to do separate text because I'm a weirdo, but here's information for you about test it. And then she can kind of look at that info and it's all back on my site, which I love. And if I did have my own videos, then she's viewing those videos back like on my, I mean, it's embedded here. So if I hit play, it's going to start playing, but it is linking her to like, oh, okay, now let me go check that out. And now she's on my YouTube channel and it just keeps going and going and going. So very, very cool. So that's what I had prepared for us for those area pages. Let me get this to stop playing. There we go. They're very high value. They're kind of hidden and buried on the bottom of your website. So bring some attention to them, even if you don't edit them. But you can also see that there's some valuable ways to edit them with HTML coding, with just own typing in there, even just adding that to make this personal to you. I would do that even if you don't want to do like the coding or the videos or anything like that. I would definitely go in there and put like your own spin on your experience with the area, things you highlights about the area. All of that is going to show you as the industry expert. So cool. Any other questions? When a YouTube video is embedded, does that mean if you click on YouTube on the bottom right, it doesn't go to the general YouTube URL where the video is? Yeah, so it's embedded, so I can just hit play and it just plays right here. And then when I clicked on that YouTube, it took me straight to this video specifically as well. Yeah, it's a good question. And then also, if I clicked on the name of the video, that also took me just right to this one specific video. Yeah, yeah. And now you guys can't hear it, but it's playing on like 3 different in my ears. There we go. Got it paused. Yeah, very cool. Any other questions for me today? I will repost real quick a link to our playlist where you can find the recording. And I will also repost that link to our YouTube channel. Oh, just did that. Our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is where we announce the topics ahead of time. Oh, Patricia, let me go back. A website where I can't think of any off the top of my head of other agents who have done that. I would ask that in the Facebook group. Hey, who has done work on customizing your area's page? What can you share with me? That's what I would do. I would go and I would post that in the Facebook group. Great question. Oh, and the website is showing other areas that you don't want them to show. Yeah, so step 1 is going to your web and IDX and going into your service areas and SEO. Now, if you haven't done this yet, your list will be blank, right? Even if there's things showing on your website, because that's inheriting from your parent site. So your parent site is someone above you. It might be your team if you're on a team, it might be your office, it might be your company entity. But if you haven't edited this for yourself, you're getting it from someone else. So if you go and look on your website on the home page, down at the bottom, and you have a whole bunch of things here, but you look in KV Core and you have nothing, that's because you're inheriting it from someone higher up, a parent site. And so when you're adding them, so you can either add, I have some on here, so add all from the MLS, or you can go and like one at a time add them. So whichever is going to be an easier process for you. And then that's how you can kind of start to, that is how you can narrow what's available on those area pages. Good question. All right, any other questions for me, on topic, off topic, any of the above? I think another webinar is about to start. So in case we get kicked off, it has been a great day with you all. All right.